Firefighting in Canada this week is brought to you by VFIS of Canada, a division of CVIS Incorporated, Canada's largest insurer of firefighters. This week, we'll take a look at the COVID-19 procedural change that reduced call volumes for the Thunder Bay Fire Department in Ontario. Then, British Columbia has enlisted hundreds of cattle to aid in the wildland firefighting efforts. And the September edition of Firefighting in Canada magazine features Firefighters Without Borders, a Canadian-based NGO that provides donated equipment and training to departments in need. COVID-19 has caused many changes for fire departments across Canada, but one key change for the Thunder Bay Fire Department in Ontario has resulted in lower call volumes for firefighters. To mitigate risks associated with the COVID-19 outbreak, Thunder Bay firefighters changed their criteria for responses to medical calls. Acting Fire Chief Greg Henkio said the department responds to about 1,200 to 1,300 shortness of breath calls each year. In the spring, it was decided that firefighters would respond to medical calls where a patient is having difficulty breathing, only if the person is losing or has lost consciousness.
The whole premise behind changing the criteria was really to protect the health and safety of firefighters and not have them exposed to potential COVID-19 patients, right? It was trying to reduce that exposure. We haven't, at this point in time, discussed going back to the original call volume or the original criteria, but I'm guessing sometime in the near future that's a discussion that I will be having with the Chief of Superior North EMS and the Base Hospital Medical Director in Thunder Bay.
Despite these changes, Henkio said this should not affect the number of staff at his department. The Wildfire Prevention Project in southeastern British Columbia has enlisted cattle to help aid in their suppression efforts. In June, 200 cows were brought south of Cranbrook and spent the month grazing on dry grasses, a model that's already being used in the United States and Europe. The cattle are used in high-risk areas to mitigate the risk of wildfires. This tactic is used in tandem with other efforts like prescribed burning. The project used electric fencing to prevent the cattle from wandering outside the 52-kilometer area. The grazing initiative is sponsored by the Ministry of Forests in BC and Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada. In the September edition of Firefighting in Canada, we feature the Canadian-based NGO Firefighters Without Borders. The organization began nearly 20 years ago in Mississauga, Ontario. Since its inception, the nonprofit has grown and now provides donated equipment and training to in-need fire departments around the world. To date, Firefighters Without Borders has completed 25 projects in over 20 countries. Every project has the goal of providing a fully operational training plan to help fill gaps for fire departments that may not have the resources or tools to do so on their own. The feature dives deeper into the origins of the organization, how projects are selected, how they work, and how COVID-19 has affected them. To read the full article, visit firefightingincanada.com. Thanks again to VFIS of Canada, a division of CVIS Incorporated, Canada's largest insurer of firefighters. Stay tuned for our next episode on Friday, September 25th.